If you watch this, you probably want to improve but don't know how. I will face my own opening, the Lankrit system, but my opponent will play some inaccuracies. I will capitalize on those inaccuracies perfectly, get a great position, put a lot of pressure to get into an even better position and find a disgusting brilliant move, and my opponent will resign without me even knowing why. He will just randomly resign. I will not even know how bad the position was for him, and the engine completely justifies his resignation. If you want to get wins like this, not even knowing what you did so well, let's go. In the previous video, we saw how I got a quite dubious attack in the Lankrit system, just trying to get some experience in my own opening. I don't know the lines yet, but I'll learn. And my quite dubious attack landed good. We saw a lot of sample lines, how I could have won by some tactical things, and how my positional play didn't really work out all too well. I see that my setup is a bit messed up. Like this. I messed it up again. Like this. Yeah, let's do it like that. So he's playing the move orders weird. He should do this, then I attack the pawn and then you push. So now if he does this, we transpose, except I already got my knight out, so I can move my bishop out. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Big difference indeed. If we look at the Lankrit system from the white side, you play e4, you face a Caro-Kann, but here my opponents play c3, which is quite bad. And I'll tell you why. In this position, if you know anything about the Caro-Kann, you could play the French with e6 and d5, which is perfectly fine, but it blocks the bishop. I don't like that all too much. That's why I play the Caro-Kann. So my opponent plays a Caro-Kann as well. No, I play Caro-Kann, he plays against the Caro-Kann, and he should know that I want to develop my bishop quite badly. How do you prevent that? Well, the queen is preventing the development to g4 perfectly, but you still have the f5 square, but nothing is covering this. That's why the fourth move is bishop to d3, covering the f5 square. Here, black can attack the pawn, but that's not a problem. We can just defend, and that's the move that my opponent played. So my opponent played this, after which he played bishop to d3, but that allowed me to go to f5, which is great, but even worse after you play c3, just wasting a move. I don't have to attack this pawn anymore. I don't have to. So I can first develop the f6 knight, gaining control over g4, so that I can even prepare bishop to g4, which is further down the board with an attack. So it's better. So that's how I capitalized on my opponent's mistakes. If he played this better, then I would play knight to f6 now, and then you have the great move from the Lankrit system, h3, because the knight enables the development to the g4 square. So my opponent did play the correct moves, but he played it in the wrong order. Also, he played f6, which weakens the king a lot and stops the development from the knight and deactivates the queen. And I don't know why you would play f3 over h3. And if we look at how to play against the Lankrit system, I have to change to my Caro course after takes and bishop out. we get this. I advise e5, which is the best move, but in this position, we get an isolated queen spawn, which is quite bad. In some lines, white can give up the bishop to pressure and stop, which is quite an aggressive way to play. This is just one sample line. This is not what I recommend for white, by the way. I recommend putting the bishop back on c2, but this is just a random sample line. We can give up this pawn to get a lot of activity. Obviously, we are threatening bishop h2 check, picking up the queen. He has to move. Now we have this disgusting sacrifice already. If you take, we get takes. Our bishop is strong, our queen is strong. I feel like h3 is quite indefendable. And the line stops here because this is just over. I will win this. I'll have a checkmating threat. If you stop me somehow, I can just put my bishop somewhere, lift my rooks, put my rook on e8 to stop your king from running away. It's over. This is already a lost position. So in the long system, you really have to know what you're doing. After knight to e5, I personally recommend bishop to c2, after which we develop the dark squared bishop. We just develop take, we can give a check, queen can block. And in a lot of these positions, we can go for this endgame where we get to castle, put a rook in the center, develop our bishop if we are allowed, but it's still quite hard. And we try to go for this d4 pawn break to trade off our IQP, our isolated queen pawn, which is a weakness, and play the endgame from there with more activity, potentially with a bishop pair if he gives up his bishop. So let's get back to the video. Yeah, but now I can do this. He's messing up badly, I think. This, by the way, blocks. Yeah, and I think this. If I push, take, this is an isolated pawn, and this is not really an outpost. I could do that. I could do this. I could take. Probably taking. Getting his queen out isn't the best thing, but I'm trading his incredible light squared bishop for my. I'm so happy that it's out of the pawn chain piece, so I can just neutralize, play h6. So now I gain a tempo because this will be useful. You have to move your bishop, which will not be useful. And there might be some tactics in the future, or no. Okay, I thought after this maybe I could do something with knight here, you take my bishop, and then I should take something with a check. It doesn't work, yeah, but it was just a rough idea that I had, but now it won't work at all. So now let's get the knight out. Activating my f6 knight will be very difficult, to be fair, but I don't even think that it's necessary. It's quite good as it is, it's just controlling some random squares and defending my king, and it doesn't really have to have an incredible extra purpose. It's fine as it is, and if you see this pawn structure, that's the Carlsbad structure, which means that we have to attack over here with our pawns. He has to attack there with his pieces and potentially with the pawns, if he's willing to take the risk of a weak king. So we'll just push and have a weak pawn here, a weak pawn there, have some targets, shoot at the targets, try to win them, That looks quite intelligent, but I don't think it is. It's trying to get off of a weak diagonal, which isn't weak at all. Like, it will become weak. That there is a good chance that that move will prove to be useful in the future. I cannot lie, but I don't think it's useful now. I could, by the way, shift my attention. Hmm. How do I want to do this? Do I go for this in order to push that so I can push over here, take, or do I play like this, that? If this and that, how do you defend? You just push your pawn and I wasted two moves to make your king a little bit weaker. But it is exploitable. Nah, not really. So let's just focus over here. Trying to push this so I can push that after takes. We have a weak pawn and a weak pawn. And a strong rook. Quite a useful bishop. And our knight is quite terrible, but so are his knights, and I think that this is still a fine defender. Yeah, so obviously you want to go here. I can challenge you. Is this knight actually going to be useful here? Or do I just want to challenge it, push this away? What if I just go for this and you're not stopping that plan? I just allow you in, push, go here, allow you in, take, and I'm pressuring this. I think. Hmm. Or do I want to disallow you from going there? What if you start a pawn storm? Am I quick enough with counterplay? Yeah, I can just take this. So do I respect my opponent's wishes and knight here is met with take, bishop take? And after takes and takes, there's nothing. You can put a knight there, but after takes, queen takes, pawn takes. I take the open file and I have a weak pawn to attack. And just a little bit of better structure. So do I just completely disrespect my opponent? I think I do, actually. Because maybe this knight isn't defending anymore, but what is it really defending? It's just a hook, if anything, and now my bishop is stopping this, so I think my knight is more useful just stopping and neutralizing your knight. I have no... Oh, I obviously I know what that does, but... I mean, am I not faster? Are you not scared? I can do this. So that push is met with takes. Is that necessary? Push, push, block weakening my light squares, but there are no light squared bishops. And now you don't have a plan. This is a weak pawn forever. Making this pawn break looks great. Your bishop is defended, annoyingly enough. If this queen wasn't here, I had this pawn break. I think I just disrespect my opponent again. You can push. There's a case to be made for g5, but I think it's an overreaction. There is a case to be made for bishop g5, and after takes and takes, I blockade most of your attack. Is that smart? I let you make the weakness. I put a bishop in. If you trade this off, you have less firepower. If you make this pawn break, I'll just take it. You can push. I'll break open everything. Is that fine? Bishop in here, you can push. Oh, is that devastating? You can actually push, yeah. So do I have to move my rook so that this is met with takes, bishop takes, knight in f8, knight f8, never mate? As the saying goes, if you want to take and take, I'm solid. And if you just give me a chance, I can push, take, take. I want to win one more tempo. What move can I just leave out? After like this, take, take, rook takes, and I look quite screwed. Maybe g6 holds. So what if I push, take, bishop take? I can take attacking your knight. You have to save your knight. I can... I mean, there has to be something. I don't care, like this. Bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes. You don't have an attack. But my king is a bit naked. Bishop here, take. How do you attack me? Rook lift? Oh wait, that looks valid. But rook lift is always met with knight h6, is it? Bishop in. Take. Push, maybe. Take, knight take. Push. I just have to know which attack is faster. That's the only thing that matters. Which attack lands faster. After this, take, push, take, knight in. Push. I can always push if needed to blockade, but then you'll go there. I think I can defend, but I don't know on which line. I feel like I'm winning. What if I push? Take, push. Take. My bishop is defended, so if you want your bishop out of the way with takes and takes, I can always put a knight in. But then you can... But that takes a lot of tempo, so... I think I'm fine. Push, take once. You take with the bishop. I can disregard you. I can, by the way, take this opening this attack, because if I take this, you can take with the queen defending. And maybe that saves you one crucial tempo. And if I take with the rook... Oh, nope. Nope. Maybe a combination. Oh, you just take. That's very responsive. Yeah, so I'll just take back, break your structure. If you want to trade rooks, that's fine. Then I enable knight to f8 and my rook infiltration if needed. I don't think he should have reacted to my attack. He should go all in on his own attack. I mean, at least not that fast. He should calculate whether my attack is more powerful than his is. Because now I'm just threatening to make a weak pawn. I do have to think, if he takes the pawn... I can, by the way, take his rook so that his rook doesn't defend his rook anymore. You get me? If I take his a rook... Wow. That leaves your center so weak. So I can just take... Queen takes... I can put a knight in here, by the way. If you take, I can take, which is the is stupid, but it works. Um. So if takes, you have so many weak pawns. I don't care. I don't even have to calculate. It's fine. I don't care. No, this has to be fine. And maybe I just give you the open file? No, that's not strong enough. After takes rook here, you have rook a6, which looks devastating. I can't ask for a queen trade, which is weird. I would want to do this, but then there's probably g5. I want to put a rook here, but then you just take. So what if I take first? You take. I put a rook here, you have rook a5 again. And I can't allow that. How can I pose a threat? Is this nice? So I can maybe take threatening check, which wins a bishop. Not if you take with the bishop though, but then it win. Nah, it doesn't win a knight. Okay, that's annoying. So, knight in here, forcing take, rook takes. Is that beneficial for me? Here takes, rook takes, and if rook takes, queen takes. I control the file, but I don't think it was worth it. What's my plan here? I can't play this. Maybe that is valid. No, because after takes and takes, you have takes. So I can play this. After takes and takes, I allow infiltration with the point that check, block, take, and I'm up a bishop for a knight and a pawn, but your queen is incredibly active. So this, what if you don't take? Then you have to move your queen. If you have to move your queen, I can take. So here, you can't move and defend this pawn, so I go here, you practically have to take, I think. Then I can take. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that this just works. I don't know, he can prove me wrong. If I'm wrong, he can prove me wrong. But I mean, this is just a fork. If you want to defend it, you have to take, but then I'll take. And after this and that, I'm threatening this, I'm threatening that, and I'm pressuring this. How do you defend? Tell me. Maybe take queen c6, attacking my rook and defending this pawn. Then I have to take. Then I just have takes, and if you take, then I can take with a check and take. So I want a pawn again. And I have a insane amount of pressure. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that it works. And maybe something exists, but only if the rook moves. So maybe I have takes, rook takes, knight takes, pawn takes, check. I don't know. Let's play fast. I calculated all of this. So this shouldn't be the problem. What if you take first? Oh, then I have an in-between move. I can take first with a check. Point being that after takes and takes, you have queen c6 and I cannot bail out. I have check, rook blocks. You're very lucky that your knight is here. If your knight wasn't there, you were losing. I'm trying to find a way, like check here, take, check, block. How is there nothing? It's impossible. Knight in there? Takes, check, block. No. What about this? Point being that takes is a threat. Takes is a threat, only if that moves though. Why is this so difficult? So here attacking your knight. If you take, I have takes. What if I take? Not no, that's not strong enough. Here, if knight takes, I have check. Block mate? No, because you always have knight. Ugh. That's disgusting. What if I just attack a queen? Queen has to move, and I don't know in which. Here, queen in there. I have to take. You have to take back. I can check here, check, pick it up, or something. I'm not sure. I'll figure something out. If you take now. I can just take back. Check here. There's no check. That's annoying. I don't know. I'll figure something out. My knight is defended, so I can always play rook to c8, attacking the queen again if needed. I mean, not really if needed, if useful. If you go here, it will be useful. What about this rook? And then you can take, check, block, take, I don't know. That's weird. But maybe I'm threatening check here, knight over there, threatening to take, or to get in there, just attacking this. Oh, what? Why did you leave? Is this so lost? I'm confused. Where's my... Not here. I am... I am completely winning here. Why do I not see why? Check, block, take, knight takes. Yeah, I did see this. You can just move. I can get in here and you cannot stop me from getting in there. God damn. I saw all of this. I mean, I didn't calculate the sequence, but I saw all of these plans. That's disgusting. And if you counterattack, I can just don't care. If you take, I can just block. And you can't stop mate. Wow. I didn't see that it was that lost. Okay, so let's analyze the whole game. I was just fascinated by the position, but we'll get there. If you, by the way, enjoyed this and learned anything, don't miss out and subscribe, by the way, and like. And by the way, a guy told me that my mic sucks in a kind way, like a week ago. So I bought a new mic and I would appreciate the feedback on it. If someone has some feedback on my mic or the thumbnails and titles and content, I would greatly appreciate some feedback. Thank you. So we're in an exchange card con here. He can go for the Panoff. He can go for a long crate system after all of this with H3. Which is very weird, but you're just stopping the bishop from promoting and following the rule of Magnus Carlsen. Just pick a piece, play against it, and win games. That's exactly what you're doing. Here, the best move is just to break open after takes, bishop goes here. That's what I will recommend in my course once it's out. Uh, Already, like, in which variation of the Caro-Kann you have to play with the IQP? Second of all, this is the best move. And after you attack it, let's say we just castle, we can trade and then we get pinned, but there are lines where we have some type of initiative. And the best move is just to retreat the bishop and stuff. I didn't find the line. I haven't studied it. I'm making the course. There are lines where you literally have to retreat the bishop. So I also included lines of the bishop instantly going there. But if you don't see why you can just sack your knight is because of this. And then I have to defend and the bishop has to go back. Okay, that's the line. And after castles, you just have takes, and this is still a IQP. We control its movement, so this is such a nice position to play with white. But anyway, that will be for the course, which isn't out yet. But he opts to go for this instantly, so he would greatly benefit from my course. I developed this knight. Usually, if he plays his bishop out, we play this knight out first, attacking the pawn. Now you get this structure. The difference between this first is that this is not an attack, and this develops a piece trying to develop a piece. And now if you go for the long reach system, it doesn't work because we get our bishop out. That's why you put the bishop here first. And I pressed the wrong button, that's so annoying. So the problem with this position now, if you do this, we can get out. And if you just attack us, we do not care. We will gladly trade that bishop off. Which isn't even the best move. Best move is to go here and then play with your bishop inside the pawn chain, which is just some dog shit engine. I don't know. So this is a weird move. It blocks my bishop, but still has a plan. Apparently developing this knight, letting this go, and then... I mean, fair enough. And after this, you're already losing because this pawn pushes, first of all, a lot of tempo. Second of all, why is this diagonal so messed up? So that's already losing, which is quite cool. I mean, we just developed the other piece. He developed his bishop, and after this trade, which is the best move, we go for our chain. He pins us. We can just unpin ourselves. Apparently, this is better. And I saw this from a grandmaster. He allows you to damage the structure, but if you take my knight, I'm not capturing back. I'm capturing this, and your rook is just trapped. So takes is bad because of takes, and that's how you break this pin, not by defending it, but by attacking something more important than a knight, which is a trapped rook. He has to defend against that, and then you can unpin yourself. So yeah, okay, probably an inaccuracy, could have played better. Fair enough. So here we just gain a tempo, we start developing, castling, keep developing. Apparently this is a line. I calculated this and I didn't know. Yeah, okay, it's just a great move to go for this. And ew, if you do this, I can't even capture. That's disgusting, okay. I mean, fair enough. So that was a line, but I just go for the minority attack. And here I have to find some weird moves. I opted to go for queen here to just support my minority attack. He kind of defended it, but not really. And here I was calculating a lot if I should allow his knight in and just attack if I should leave the knight here to defend against an attack, and if this even was useful. Yunjin is just unimpressed, allows the knight in, attacks it, and after it takes, let's say the forcing line with takes, and knight takes, attacking the queen, pinning us, queen up, trying to attack this. Move, defending the rook, by the way. Take, rook over. I'm quite confused where this line is going to. What if you prepare pushing, then we just blockade the pawn, okay. And after takes, we have all of the pressure against the pawn. Oh, and we can just block out the bishop, cool. Yeah, okay, that's sick, fair enough. We could have won the game like that, but there's no way I find all of those lines. I opted to just defend. This is not the worst of moves, but not too good. This is a bit tunnel visioning, and it makes it very obvious what you want to do, but I see that my attack is faster, so I just go for the attack. He has to find the counterplay already. I break open everything, and he should just counterattack me and not defend. Defending is usually not good. You saw it with Knight Hero was defending, and it wasn't a good choice. I should have just opted to attack. He should opt to attack, and in this position I was calculating this, which loses the game to, oh, I saw it and then I forgot. I don't know why I forgot that I calculated that. Anyway, so I didn't go for it, which is great. I attack, he breaks it open, and I'm already winning. You give me this pawn. This is just a pawn trade, but it's not just a pawn trade. So this structure is fine. After takes, you have one weak pawn. But one of the worst things you can do is to push it forward, because after takes, this is horrible, this is horrible, this is a backward pawn on a very weak diagonal. And your structure is so bad that the engine is like, nah, you're going to lose 3 pawns. And here you see the ghost move that I calculated. That was actually the best move. I'm quite proud of it. That's disgusting. And from here it goes from bad to worse. But it's quite fascinating how those are my only lines. I rejected this because after takes, you could just take my knight. Computer is unimpressed. After takes, I can pick up the knight. I also have takes. Nope. I have takes. And this is equal, but for some reason completely winning. I mean, the safety of your king, but you do get an active rook for it, so I don't know, he has to ask for a queen trade and I just have to take an extra pawn. If you defend the pawn, I activate my rook. If you now ask for a queen trade, I will just trade rooks, move up, and take a knight. GG. GG, well played. So, yeah, this is just horrible. I rejected it, I thought that was bad, but I did find the best move because of it. And here the only way to fight for only a -3 is to put your queen on c2. He just took and it's -4 after takes, and now your only defensive resources is, I don't know what. You push a pawn, and here I have to find knight there, best move, disgusting. And after queen up, you only block, take, rook over, and after this, what is my winning ID? Just this. There's nothing worse. You can attack me, I can just take a pawn, you can attack me again, I can just take another pawn, you can put your queen up, I can attack your rook, which can slide upward, I can attack your rook, which can slide downward, I can attack your queen, which has to move, I can infiltrate, and in this position, I'm threatening a double check and mate, by the way. For illustration, if you move this, this is double check and mate, which will be a beautiful sequence, I cannot lie. And yeah, okay, I would say that maybe it's winning, but because of unfindable reasons. But if anything, the defensive resources are unfindable. Queen back here, I don't know for what reason. I just jumped my knight in. This is checkmate, so it's easy to find. You have to hop a knight forward, just sacking a pawn with an attack on the knight, which just has to retreat to lose another pawn, which then has to hop around. We can attack the rook. Rook has to slide, and is this not winning? Queen blocks. Okay, valid. So we just gotta put a rook over. This is also not winning. Rook activates, and we have nothing. We have this. That looks juicy. I would have found that. Yeah, you can just move though. I mean, this line is a bit more difficult, to be fair. But I mean, still, like, we already up 2 pawns. So I didn't see how this position was completely lost. And I would really wish that my opponents let me play this out, because I think there would be a lot of instructive things. By the way, finding this move is incredible, but how did I find this even? I mean, I just saw this pin, so I was like, I can't put a piece there, you cannot take. So if I put a 3-point piece there, you take it, I take a 3-point piece. Now I have to think this isolated weak pawn became a stronger pawn. So is the improvement of your pawn chain worth my queen activity? Hitting a loose knight, hitting a loose knight, hitting a loose pawn with a check, hitting a rook. Being an awesome defensive resource, by the way. And if everything goes wrong, I still have a bishop for a knight advantage in every endgame. So I mean, I thought that this was worth it, and I saw this, by the way, because I wanted to sack my most awful knight for his bishop, but then I came to the conclusion that after take a piece, take a piece, take a piece with an attack on my rook, I have to take and take a piece, and now your queen is quite strong. So I would have to find some great offensive resources, and then I thought, oh, I have another knight, let's calculate that, because the problem was that you could take. In the variation where I sacked this knight, you cannot take the knight because I already sacrificed it, and like that I found a great offensive resource, and that's just lights out. Like, this is -4-ish, this is -3-ish, rook takes -2.3, and knight a5, which I was calculating as well, was -1.4. Queen to b6, which I also saw, trying to hit this, attacking that, pinning that, which weakens this, is -1.3. So I saw literally every offensive resource in this position. I spent a lot of time here. I saw every offensive resource. I calculated them all. I evaluated them all. And I found the best move, which is probably a brilliant move, but I don't have game reviews. Let's go. So, if you enjoyed, if you learned anything, don't miss out and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.